Good morning and happy Monday, everyone. If any of you are basketball and particularly Laker fans, congratulations on the first championship in 10 years. I personally am not a huge Laker fan. I am a LeBron fan. At least I was for most of his career, and kind of gone down for a few reasons, but I was happy to see him win. If you guys aren't basketball fans, then if you're Halloween fans, then happy 18 more days until Halloween. And if you're not incredibly stoked about Halloween, but you're looking forward to Christmas, happy 74 days until Christmas. It's right around the corner. I swear once the temperatures start to get a little bit cooler, which they're not supposed to this week, but at least they were over the weekend, I swear Christmas comes up pretty fast. All right, so guys, we're in 3rd Nephi. We are almost done. We only have about 2 more months, and then we're done with seminary, and that includes some time off for Thanksgiving, and then we're done with the Book of Mormon, and you guys won't see the Book of Mormon until you're seniors again, the last half of your senior year. So we are in 3rd Nephi, and this is now 5 years after Samuel the Lamanite. And for those of you who remember, if we go back to Helaman chapter 14, in verse, where does he say it? In verse 3, he says that he will give unto them a sign of the Savior's birth, and it'll be a day and night and a day, that shall be as one day. And he said very clearly that it will be 5 years in the future. And so now almost 5 years have passed. And here in 3rd Nephi chapter 1, in verse 6, and they began to rejoice over their brethren, meaning, and they being those who did not believe in Samuel and who did not believe in the Savior. They began to rejoice, the non-believers did, saying, behold, the time is past, and the words of Samuel are not fulfilled. Therefore, your joy and your faith concerning this thing have been vain. And in verse 7, and it came to pass that they did make a great uproar throughout all the land, and the people who believed began to be very sorrowful, lest by any means those things which had been spoken might not come to pass. But behold, they did watch steadfastly for that day and that night and that day, which should be as one day, as if there were no night, that they might know that their faith had not been in vain. And in verse 9, and now it came to pass that there was a day set apart by the unbelievers, that all those who believed in those traditions should be put to death. So we know that now, and I don't want to take away anything from right now, but it's pretty rough. Times are pretty bad. And, there's a lot to not be fearful of, but a lot of things that we need to make sure we are being cognizant of and taking precautions. But this was a bad time. I mean, you were about to be, if you were a believer, you were going to be put to death if on this day, if the sign didn't come. So Nephi, who was a leader of the church and the prophet at the time, goes and he prays. He says, Lord, please help us. This is about to happen. All those people who believe you will be put to death unless your son comes. And he is given a remarkable answer. He is given 2 whole columns of an answer by God. And he's given comfort and he's given peace, saying, hey, you're completely okay. I'm very well aware of what's going on. Oh, and by the way, tonight is when the sign is given. And so obviously we know that this was Christmas here in the Americas. And I think that is super awesome. And so there is a quote that I wanted to share, and this is by Brother Edgley. And he says, because of the conflicts and challenges we face in today's world, I wish to suggest a single choice. And I love, he makes it very clear. A choice of peace and protection, and a choice that is appropriate for all, and that choice is faith. And the other choice is to choose faith over doubt or fear, or the unknown and the unseen. And that, frankly, is the choice of the gospel, whether you want to choose that faith and that hope, or you want to choose the fear and doubt. It is so easy sometimes to be fearful and to be doubtful. And, especially in today's world, if you ever watch the news, if you want to call it news, or anything else on social media, so much of it is either fearful or wanting you to be angry about something, but that's not what the Lord proposes and gives us at all. And he says, when logic, reason, and personal intellect come into conflict with sacred teachings and doctrine, or conflicting messages that assault your belief, choose to not cast the seed out of your heart by unbelief. Remember, we receive not a witness until after the trial of our faith. So my question to you today is, when the adversary tries to get me to doubt, how will I maintain faith in Jesus Christ and his restored gospel? So when Satan tries to get you to doubt, what are you going to do so you can maintain your faith? And I know that when we do maintain our faith, when we do hold out true to the gospel, that we are blessed. And just how Nephi and the people during that very first Christmas Eve, what it turned out to be, held out faith, they were obviously not only protected and spared a terrible death, but really so many people were converted and joined their cause because of their faith. So I just so happen to have that basketball hoop behind me. My son left a basketball here for us. So if I have 4 shots this week. If I make one, then you guys can swing by my house anytime and I'll give you the candy bar of your choice, okay? Let's see. Don't laugh at me if it's that terrible. Oh, close. Maybe tomorrow.